Hello fellow gamers, it's your boy Zero Inc, and I'm covering more of GDC today, and today I'm covering the Phil Spencer interview at GDC. I covered the award shows, the IGF awards, and the GDC awards, which I was shocked to see that no one else on YouTube seemed to be covering, unless it was Tim Schafer's low blunder. So today I'm going to talk about the Phil Spencer interview and give you more insight on what happened at GDC. First off, I'd like to say that I made an observation. As I was watching the whole keynote of Windows 10 and Xbox, it seemed like Phil Spencer was really stressed out, under the gun. Something was going on with him because he was not coming from that same confident place that we saw last year. If you look at the way he was talking, if you look at his mannerisms, if you look at the way he seemed very, very uncomfortable up there, then you'll understand what I'm talking about. Just pay attention to the way his mannerisms are. It's very odd to see someone who is as confident as Phil Spencer to be so uncomfortable, especially in those speaking situations. Maybe he was just having a bad day, but it was just an observation. Now, the first point I'd like to bring up, besides that, is the CPU 50% boost and the GPU 20% boost. Now, first off, these numbers were not said by Phil Spencer himself. 1. 2, it was not specified which platform these boosts would occur on. Brad Wardell sent out some tweets. It seemed like he was explaining it was more for PC, but I'm not going to speculate and say it is not going to boost the Xbox that much, or it is going to boost the Xbox that much. Don't hype yourselves up over something that was not said. Don't hype yourselves up over something that was not specified. He did not say DirectX 12 was going to give Xbox One a 50% boost, 20% boost. So don't get your hopes up for that. I believe, like I said, DirectX 12 is going to help Xbox. I believe it's going to help with frame rates. I believe it's going to help with graphics. You have to keep your expectations in check, otherwise you get disappointed. And since nothing was specified, don't disappoint yourself by believing something that was not specified. They showed Elite Dangerous. If you don't know Elite Dangerous, David Braben, he came out with Elite in 1985. It was a fantastic game. It's making its debut on Xbox One exclusively. The second game he announced was Motiga, are the developers, and Gigantic. It's a part shooter, part action, part MOBA, so it's going to be like an action MOBA type of thing for Windows 10 and Xbox crossplay. It's called Gigantic. It looked beautiful. It looked fun. And they showed Battletoads in the Shovel Knight version for Xbox. So Battletoads does make an appearance. I was hoping he would say they were in their own standalone thing, but overall, that's great news. Those 3 games are going to be awesome for Xbox. Congratulations, Phil Spencer, for being able to lock all that stuff down. Now let's talk about cross-buy. My issues with cross-buy are I think a lot of developers are going to opt out of it. And let me explain to you why. A ways back, there was this thing called SharePlay, and you had other PS4 owners that could play 2 hours of said game if their friend allowed them to SharePlay with them. And a lot of AAA titles opted out of this feature. Now, this is only 2 hours. This isn't the whole game. Cross-buy is the whole game, which is why I think a lot of devs are gonna opt out of this feature. They're not gonna give up on that $60, that $80 that they're charging console gamers. It's just not gonna happen. And cross-play and cross-buy is already an issue for Xbox because PC gamers don't pay for online and Xbox gamers do. So it's already becoming an issue. You're hearing a lot of Xbox gamers go, why are we paying for it if PC guys get it for free? You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of particulars that are going to have to be ironed out for this to actually work. I do not believe cross-buy will ever work. I do not believe that devs want to give up on making money on separate platforms. They showed that they didn't want to do it with SharePlay, which is only 2 hours of the game. So what makes you think they want to do that free on Windows platforms? Think about it this way too. You have to understand that also brings in a lot of DRM questions. How's it going to work? Is it going to be linked specifically to your name? Is it going to be linked specifically to your Xbox? Think of it this way. You've got the game. You go over to a friend's house and he loads it up on his PC. So I don't think it's going to be what people think. I think what's going to end up happening is you put the disc in your Xbox and you can stream it to different devices. That's it. I think it's going to be streamed to different devices. I don't think it's going to be cross-buy unless they're going straight PC infrastructure. That's it. That's all I can see. And that is a cautionary for any Xbox gamer, because think about it this way. If they're already giving exclusives, if they're already saying that PC owners are going to get many of the exclusives, they're going to be able to buy them. Not only that, probably buy them cheaper on Steam and also not have to pay for online, then what's the incentive to get an Xbox? That's the whole thing. That's what a lot of Xbox fans need to realize. It's just a cautionary. I'm not telling anyone not to go out and get an Xbox because I believe it's a very capable system, but stay cautious right now. This really looks like they're trying to move the whole Xbox thing into PC. And the reason they're doing that is because they need to keep the developers interested with an install base that is okay. I think this is not going to be talked about at E3. I don't think it's going to be talked about for the rest of the year. I think next year's GDC is probably the next time we're going to see any of this talk. HoloLens is another thing. HoloLens and VR from Sony. I don't believe it's going to be as big as Sony and Microsoft think it's going to be, because here's the problem with VR or AR, stuff that's on your head. When you've got a controller in your hand and you're watching a television set, you can play third-person shooters, you can play side-scrollers, you can play platformers, you can play all these different types of games. Whereas when you have something on your head, it's mainly point of view. It's going to be FPS. These headsets are going to be great for FPS, not so great for the rest of the games, and that's why for a gamer like me who loves to play all different types of games, it's not really appealing. If they can find a way to do all types of games on these headsets, which I do not believe they're going to be able to do, that's the limitation of FPS headsets that make you seem like you're in a virtual world. I like seeing my character sometimes. But with everything that Phil Spencer said, I believe that a lot of Xbox fans have a lot to look forward to. There's just some cautionaries that you might want to look out for in the coming months and see the way it evolves. Don't get your expectations way too high, but don't totally write it off either. I think Xbox is going to be a great system. I think PlayStation's a great system. I think Nintendo's a great system. If you can afford all of them, go out and get them all. If you can't, get the one you prefer or the one your friends are on. This has been Zero. Keep gaming, gamers, and I will see all of you guys next time.